Aviv Shapira, thank you so much for joining me. Startup Nation United, a series that is now deeply in my heart. The way that we, as a startup nation, came together, October 7th, a devastating day, but out of it, a unifying moment, not just socially, but also in terms of our ability to foster innovation and have our individual contributions with the work that we're doing. So obviously you're a serial entrepreneur, you're the CEO of a company called Xtend, which I'm also honored to be a very small part of. But one of the most amazing things that I've had the privilege of seeing from the sidelines is how relevant your work is in aiding in the context of the conflict. So I'm excited to now 64 days into the war, recap a little bit of what's been happening with you over these last 64 days. And I want to understand, even before we do that, maybe just a few words about Xtend and yourself, just for the context. And then I want to dive into October 7th.
Okay, so a few words about myself. So I'm an aerospace engineer. I worked many years in the defense industry and in general in robotics and UAVs. The last 15 years in startups, where my most famous startup is Replay Technologies, which was acquired by Intel after winning 2 Emmy Awards. And eventually that was the kickstart for Xtend. How do we create a technology that allows people to actually access remote places with virtual reality technology, but into robots and drones, and not into sports like the previous company. Xtend started it's a very interesting story to recap. Xtend started as a gaming company, allowing anyone to fly a race drone that flies 150 kilometers per hour for gaming purposes. And the first thing we did with this gaming, let's call it POC or MVP, was to intercept kites and balloons in Gaza. So today Gaza is different. We don't see kites and balloons. We see something much more severe, unfortunately. But we are dealing with the threats in 2019 and with the threats today. So Xtend is helping IDF to win the war in different evolutions. What started in 2019 as a balloon and kite interceptor became today a leading system, allowing soldiers to actually step inside very dangerous situations from remote using robotic technology. So essentially, you don't have to breach doors. You can do that with drones and robots. You don't have to find yourself trying to clear buildings, with a canine dog or with yourself. You can do that with our equipment. And at the end of the day, we're trying to allow soldiers, police officers, security personnel to actually do everything that they would do physically and risk themselves, but without taking physical risks. So that's Xtend in a nutshell. Regarding Xtend, October 6th and October 7th is a very different company. So before the war started, the company is split in half. So we have an enterprise business dealing with inspection, oil and gas, renewable energy, and there is a defense business which is mostly focused on the U.S. market. October 7th is 100% IDF supportive company across all sectors of the company, and we basically placed all of our efforts in order to help the IDF. It actually started with like a lot of startups company helping just volunteering work and contributing what we can without being paid. I guess like many others, we try to get donations and help wherever we can. But at some point, after about 3-4 days, IDF stepped in and said, we've chosen Xtend as one of five most important verticals and vectors in order for IDF to win this war. So since then, we've been very, very busy.
And so, share with me just a little bit about from your personal experience. October 7th hits. How, as a CEO of a startup, and now, and how many people are in Xtend as a company?
So Xtend today overall is about 100 people, about half on the civil side and half of the defense side.
So walk me through, what happens from that morning and how you're thinking through what what Xtend's role is going to be, both for the first part of the volunteering part, but then also commercially, how do you then actually integrate this into Xtend's core business proposition?
So it's very interesting what happened. So Saturday morning was, I was on the way surfing, and it happened. I can tell you that Saturday evening was supposed to be. We were supposed to fly a very large team. One team was supposed to fly to a very big defense event in the U.S., and another team was supposed to fly to close an investment, for instance. Obviously, both of them were canceled. Probably around lunchtime, we understood that we're not going anywhere, and that basically put on hold some of our most important tasks as a company. Both on the fundraising side and both on the U.S. market side, in terms of selling our technology to that market. So after a few days, we met with our normal representatives in the MOD, Mafat, and we decided on a course of action. The first thing that we thought about is, how do we take down drones? The war started with drones that basically killed our eyes and ears. Xtend has counter drone technology. Let's deal with that. Let's start with killing drones in the skies. And I can tell you today, after 2 months, we had more than 10 new products issued by the company, just because we are learning. We're learning what's happening in the field, and everything that we planned actually changed. For example, GPS is a problem. You're learning a lot about the enemy. How do they work in tunnels? How do they work? How do they attack you? How do you defend yourself against them? So 10 different variations of products. You take something from this drone to another robot. You change some VR characteristics. Everything changes in wartime, and our ability to adapt is what made us succeed.
You're 100% company. You have a civil enterprise side, then you have the U.S. defense side. Now you have 100 people, and your employees effectively working in their own backyard, right? You're productizing in our own country. What does that cause an organization like Xtend? How do you experience culturally the way that this then changes how your employees perceive their own day-to-day of the company?
So first of all, reserve is a big issue. About 30% of the company have been summoned to reserve, and entire departments were not there on October 9th. Or October 8th, when they had to go back to the office. I'm talking about my whole business team. Some of the engineering team have simply gone, and you have to somehow multiply the amount of work that you do. So you have less people and more work, and how do you compensate for that? So it took us about a week to understand that we can actually ask for people to return. So about 10% of the people actually returned because we were doing IDF related work. We're not just like a gaming company anymore, and that really helped us. But a lot of people like myself started to do more than one roles. So I'm now in charge of business and the CEO, right? So everyone has another role that he has to do. I can tell you that we've received orders in the past 2 months, more than the entire 2022 year. So we are very, very busy, and it made us scale. So from manufacturing maybe 10 to 50 systems in a month, we now have to manufacture 300 to 500 in a month. How do you do that? Again, with less people. So a lot of really, really hard, I would say, growth pains that happen like in days, in weeks. You don't have time to prepare for that. But because there is a very, very strong goal, you're helping to save lives. It's not like you have a very strict deadline to make money. You're literally saving lives. That changes everything. So people are working day and night and Friday and Saturday without stopping.
Yeah, that's and I guess there's it's a different sense of mission, right? I mean, it just it sounds like from your perspective. There's you really do feel the urgency from the backyard, and we obviously we feel it. We feel it at home, and so looking forward, how does that impact Xtend as an organization? You as a CEO, what are your thoughts looking forward as to how this war and Xtend's role and it shaped Xtend's trajectory?
I think it makes us today one of the most operational companies in our field. A lot of companies can sell products for a future war. We are in war. We are using the products every day. We're saving lives. We were the first drones to enter, Be'eri, Kfar Aza, and basically deal with these terrorists. And we learned so much from that. So much. And this is what happened. This is why we changed so much in the system, just to make sure we comply for the next day and the next day. Suddenly you get like software upgrades every day and not every month. For me as a CEO, I think I'm learning that you can do more with less people as long as you have motivation. There are two ways to actually motivate to make someone do something: manipulation by telling someone, "I'm your boss, do something," or by telling him, if you do this, you can save people's lives. And I think we learned that we can do so much more with less people, which is really inspirational for everyone here in the company.
Aviv, wishing you best of luck. Thank you for the great work that you're doing. Thank you for both from the volunteering aspect, but then also for finding the right commercial fit, because obviously it needs to be sustainable and it needs to foster the continued growth and innovation of Xtend as a company, and that will only make Israel and our defense stronger. So it all is a circle of win-win. So thank you very, very much, and I'm wishing you and us all best of luck. Thank you for the inspiration.
Thank you for your time. Bye for now.
Yeah.